Hi everybody, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and in today's episode of Dye Time I am dyeing this 100% pima cotton yarn. Now normally I use this yarn as a bit of a mop for when I'm doing ice dyeing, so today I thought I would make this yarn the star of the show. It's cotton and has been soaking in soda ash and water for, not quite sure how long this has been soaking in there for. It doesn't need more than about 30 minutes, but it's definitely been longer than that. And what I have here are some solutions of that's snozzberry, and this one is Mermaid's Dream. This is using up dye from another video actually, but I really wanted to just make this, as I said, make it the star of the show. And I didn't measure out how much of the snozzberry and Mermaid's Dream I dissolved in water. I just made a solution, and now I'm using all of it because I really want to make a nice, oh yeah, I like this a lot. Now this is obviously too much liquid for the yarn to really to absorb. Hopefully it can absorb some of this gorgeous colour, and I do like how these have mixed. So we've still got the two patches of snozzberry, but it's all mixed up nicely with the Mermaid's Dream, and oh, this is really pretty. Now my plan is to speckle on top of this as well, but I don't know what to speckle with. I am going round and round. Do I go for a darker purple and dark blue, or do I go for black or brown, or yellow? I'm really having a hard time deciding what colours I should speckle on top of this, because I think this is a lovely base. I just want to add a little bit more to it. I don't know. When I was making the solutions of these dyes, I did wear my mask, and I still have my gloves on, and I'm making such a mess of this. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's pick it up, start again. Trying to get all of the, well, as much of the yarn as possible up at the top on the surface so I can speckle. My gut is telling me go in Nebula Navy, so let me see if I can find that. Got my mask back on, and I've got here Nebula Navy, which is again a fibre reactive dye. Now this is a primary dye, which means there's only one colour molecule in this dye. It's not made up of multiple colours, so we won't see any breaking. And I think I'm just going to speckle on one side of this. Oh yeah, that I think is looking pretty good. There you go. I'm not going to go overboard. I probably already have, but that's kind of what I do. Got some cotton floss that I have been soaking in soda ash and water. I'm just going to wipe my fingers on that, add it in there, get these gloves off. Oops, there must have been a hole in my glove. Not the first time that's ever happened. Doubt it will be the last. This is 100% cotton floss. It's 6-stranded cotton floss, which makes it perfect for cross-stitching, embroidery, that sort of thing. Oh, actually I had more in here, so I'm just going to lay these across just to see if they'll pick up any dye. Just pat them down. maybe. Now this is a dedicated dye saucepan, and all the equipment I'm using is dedicated for dyeing. There we go. I think, stop fiddling with it, leave it, and I'm going to leave this for 24 to 48 hours, and we'll come back and wash everything we've got here. And here is our cotton yarn and cotton floss. Now actually I'm quite surprised at how little colour there is in this water. Now if this was acid dyes with an animal based fibre, that would be a lot of dye left over, but for a fibre reactive dye, and considering the colours that I actually used in this, that is not much colour at all, which is amazing actually. Add these to my zip tie just to try and keep things organised in the washing stage. This is just cold water that I'm washing with at the moment. There is always runoff, there's always bleeding when you're using plant-based fibres and fibre reactive dyes. That's just what they do. They don't exhaust in the same way that acid dyes do. And that does mean that there is a lot more washing. But actually, there isn't much colour in this at all, which I'm really surprised about. So that was cold water. Now I'm doing hot water and some washing up liquid. This helps. I'm not entirely sure how. I think it keeps the colours, it's bright, so I think it keeps the vibrancy of the colours. I'm not entirely sure. I'm a lot more comfortable with acid dyes than I am with fibre reactive, but it seems to work. Now, as I've said, there is a lot more rinsing with cotton and fibre reactive dyes. So what I often do is I'll fill this sink up with water, soapy water, and just let it sit in there, and I'll change the water every 10-20 minutes until the water's clear. Otherwise I'll be standing over the sink for a long time. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the amount of colour that's actually coming out of this. It's nowhere near as much as I thought, considering we used Nebula Navy, which is very, very dark. So yeah, I'm going to let this soak in some water now, and I'm just going to change the water every 10-20 minutes ish, and then I can hang it up to dry. And here is our gorgeous cotton yarn. Now this was dyed with solutions of Mermaid's Dream and Snozzberry, and it was actually left over from this project, so you can see there's not a great deal of pigment in the purple and blue colours there, but I use that to create a base on this yarn. Now I can't really see any of the purple, but it seems to have all blended really nicely together to create this lovely blue. And then I speckled with Nebula Navy on top. Now Nebula Navy is a primary colour, so it's not going to break into the other colours it's made of. Like this one, this was dyed with, again, the Snozzberry and Mermaid's Dream, and you can see all those splotches of colour all the way through, which is the dye breaking into the colours that it's made of. That's not going to happen with Nebula Navy because it's just the one colour, and you can see the speckles have spread out and just created these gorgeous patches of dark colour that blend really nicely with the rest of the yarn. Now because this is cotton, I'm not going to get the really sharp speckles that you can get on animal fibres, because with cotton you just need to give it time for the dye to set to the yarn, whereas with animal fibres and acid dyes you need heat and it sets to the yarn quite quickly. But I think this technique has worked really well with this yarn, and I just think it's gorgeous. It's really, really gorgeous blue. And then I've got the 4 skeins of cotton floss that I added on top of the yarn just to help
absorb any extra dye that might have been that the yarn didn't absorb. And because I had them in soaking in the soda ash solution, and they're all similar, but they're all different as well. See, this one, it's got some very light patches and even got some speckles on it, with sort of a bit of dark, sort of about half light, half dark on that one. But this one is pretty much all dark. It's a nice tonal floss, that one. This one is a bit of a mix, actually. You got the small dark patches, small light patches. You got a bit of speckles there. This last one, again, it's a little bit of a mix, but you can see that they're all very similar, but they're not the same. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Do please click like and subscribe to my channel. I produce a new dyeing tutorial every Monday, and they're usually published between about 6 and 8 p.m. UK time. And I do like to try different things with my videos. I like to experiment. I like to try different techniques and dyes, different fibre types and all sorts. So there should be something different and interesting to watch every week. Thank you so much for watching.